Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kailin and I post new videos every single week. And I post videos mainly about eating disorder recovery and intuitive eating. So if you like videos like that, then make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. I've been trying to film this intro for a while and there's construction outside, so I'm sorry if you can hear all of those background noises. But for today's video, we are doing one of my favorites, which is trying my subscribers' recipes. So I picked one of you beautiful friends randomly over on Instagram, and I had a subscriber send in 4 recipes, a breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then a dessert recipe. And so we're gonna try all of those recipes in today's video. I filmed a couple of the recipes on different days. This is not a what I eat in a day. It's really just me trying out new recipes to hopefully also give some inspiration to all of you. And today's subscriber who's gonna be featured in this video is named Celina, so let's hear from her.
Hey Kailin and everyone, my name is Celina and I'm almost 23 years old and I am from Norway. Currently I live in the Netherlands and here I live with my boyfriend Andrew and my dog Theodore, and I study nutrition. In my spare time I really like baking and cooking, and I also really like singing and playing the guitar. I'm really excited to show you some of my favorite recipes and for you Kailin to try them.
Celina just seems like a breath of fresh air. She has such a gentle demeanor and I'm so excited to try out some of her recipes, so let's go and see how we like them. Good morning everybody, and let's try one of Celina's first recipes, which I'm so excited for, but let's hear it from her what we're going to be having this morning.
The breakfast that I decided to send over the recipe for is my favorite way of having avocado toast. I have this almost every single morning and I mix it up every now and then, but I always come back to it. I started having this when it was like a trend thing, when everyone was eating avocado toast, but then I made it my own and it is so delicious and I love it.
Nothing gets me more excited to try something when I see and hear other people's excitement, and Celina just seems to really love this avocado toast. As many of you know, avocado toast and I either love it or I'm really not in the mood for it at all. And I literally bought an avocado before Celina sent me any of these recipes because I was in the mood for it. And so this recipe, it's almost like she crawled into my mind and was like, Kailin, you have to try this because it's so good. And I'm listening. So Celina, let's see what this recipe is made of. All right, so let me get all of the ingredients. The first thing that we need is our bread of choice. I'm gonna be using some homemade bread that I made. We're also going to need an avocado and some pesto, some feta, and also some red onion. Look at those lines, so pretty. We've got our beautiful little egg, and then we've got some spices that I'll show you guys soon. My dog's drinking water, but let's see if this is a good avocado, okay? I'm not sure if it's going to be overripe, so we will have to wait and see. I feel like that looks pretty good. I don't know. Look at how good that bread looks. All right, so I'm gonna try to multitask, which doesn't always work out in my favor, but my egg is cooking and I have my delicious piece of toasted bread. I'm gonna add on some pesto. Ooh, that pesto smells so good. So I don't know how much to add, but I'm just going to put on a good amount and spread it all over. That looks good. Oops, I didn't mean to drop that. Beautiful. Next up, we are adding some red onion, which I don't think I've ever had on avocado toast before. So I'm excited to try this out. Next up, we're going to add our fried egg. It cracked a little bit, but you know what? I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Next up, we're going to add some crumbled feta cheese. You guys, this smells so good already. Wow. This is what it's looking like right now, but we're gonna add on some finishing touches. A little bit of salt, some cracked black pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, and lastly, some red pepper flakes. Oh my God, this looks incredible. the egg yolk that is just spilling out on the side. Holy crap. It's time to taste this bad boy. I'm so excited. I love doing these videos because it really pushes me to try new things, to go out of my comfort zone. Sometimes I'm a creature of habit and I end up just making the same thing over and over and over again. And it's nice to not do that. Here we go. A little bit of everything on there. Oh my God. Wait. I've had some really fancy avocado toasts in my life from restaurants and cafes. This is the best avocado toast I think I've ever had. I love it. Next time I make this, because there will be a next time, I think I would mash up the avocado to turn it more into like a paste or a sauce, but this is, wow, a solid 10 on 10. I don't know, Celina, how you can top this recipe because it's so good, and we still have 3 recipes to go, so we'll just have to wait and see what else you have in store for us. All right, friends, I am dressed and ready for the day, and it's about time that we try Celina's lunch idea for us. I am so excited because I feel like I've made something similar in the past, but this has so many different twists to it. So for lunch today, we are going to be making a sweet potato and curry soup. All right, so before we hear what Celina has to say about this lunch, let me show you everything that we're going to need. All right, so I have all of the ingredients in front of me. So for this recipe, you're gonna need a bunch of carrots, some sweet potatoes. These sweet potatoes are massive, so I'm just going to use 2 of them, a Spanish onion or a yellow or white onion, whatever you wanna use, some ginger, some garlic, vegetable stock. And then for the spices, we're gonna need some curry powder, some cayenne pepper, some ground nutmeg, as well as some salt and pepper. And then the last 2 things that we're going to need are just some milk and also some sour cream. So let's get to chopping.
For lunch, I'm really excited for you to try my all-time favorite soup recipe, which is a sweet potato carrot curry soup. So I came up with this recipe because my boyfriend Andrew does a side job of delivering groceries. So whenever there's extra groceries, we get them for free. So he gets to bring them home. So this one time he had brought a bunch of sweet potatoes and carrots, and I thought, okay, why don't I try and make a soup? So I kind of just threw everything together, put in a bunch of spices, and it turned out delicious. And now we make it almost weekly. So I really hope you like it.
So into a medium pot, I'm just going to add in around a tablespoon of olive oil. Then I also diced up the Spanish onion, around a thumb of ginger, and 3 cloves of garlic, and I'm just going to add that into our pot. My pot wasn't hot, but it's gonna heat up with the oil and the veggies, and it's gonna be delicious. I am not the biggest ginger fan, so if you like ginger more than I do, because I like it, but in like very small quantities. So if you are a bigger ginger fan than me, then you can add like a couple more tablespoons of minced fresh ginger.
Horrified at what she saw, Maxine had found Alice's body laying on the bathroom floor.
Middle of the bed and I still feel cold. These vacant sheets don't feel like home, and I cry every night when I reach by my side, 'cause you're not there, and I forget that you're seeing someone else, and I heard he treats you well, but it still...
So once the onions, garlic, and ginger are nice and caramelized, you're just going to add in your sweet potato and also your beautiful chopped up carrots. So once all of the diced up veg are in there, I'm just gonna take some stock. The recipe calls for vegetable stock, but I'm sure you can use chicken broth, whatever you'd like. And you're just going to pour that on top of the vegetables until everything is nice and covered. And I'm gonna need more than 1 carton, so maybe you'll need 2 for this recipe also. All right, friends, it is time to put some finishing touches on the soup, which I'm really excited about. This is what our soup is looking like right now. I'm just going to blend her up with an immersion blender, and then we're gonna add our delicious spices, and I'm just so excited and I'm so hungry. So I'm really looking forward to taking a bite of this. Look at it. So now it's time to do my favorite thing, which is spice it up. So we have our beautiful pureed soup. The color is spectacular. Let me show you. Wow, she's gorgeous. Now for the spices, as always, we're gonna do some salt and pepper. Celina and I both measure with our hearts, so our soups might taste a little bit different, but that is the joy of cooking. Some black pepper, Going to add in around 2 teaspoons of curry powder, around half a teaspoon of nutmeg, and also a little bit of cayenne pepper for some spice. I'm also going to add just a little bit of milk to thin it out. All right, so before we serve it up with our final touches, I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a taste in case we have to add some more spices or anything like that. Oh my God, that soup is delicious. I have to add a little bit more salt and then she'll be good to serve. Our soup is here, and now the final touches, as I was saying. We're gonna add a little bit of sour cream on top. Look at how good this looks already. Oh my God. And I think Celina wanted me to add some chives, but mine were looking a little bit funky. So we're gonna add some parsley on instead. And there is our lunch for today. Holy smokes, it looks incredible. Our moment of truth. You gotta get a little bit of sour cream on your spoon with the soup. Some parsley. Gotta blow on it for good measure too, you know? Oh my God. This is incredible. Celina, I know you're gonna watch this video. You are a chef. The fact that you created this and came up with it, it's so good. I never really thought to add curry to my soups, which, like, I know that there are plenty of curry soups, but it's never just came to me before. And so that's mainly one of the reasons that I love doing these kinds of videos, because not only do I get to interact and connect with my subscribers on a deeper level, hear about where they come from, about some of their family traditions or even their family meals, I also get to really be pushed out of my comfort zone with specific meals, with specific spices and dishes, and making things that I never do, because sometimes I get in a slump and sometimes I just need a good kick in the butt to do something different. So this soup is an easy 10 on 10. They've both been 10 on 10 so far, and it's just, I don't think anything's gonna stop me from giving Celina 10 on 10s. If she keeps this up, I don't know what else to say. All right, so this next recipe that we are going to be making is one that I am so excited for. I've been on like a really big salmon kick lately, so let's see how Celina likes to make her salmon.
The dinner I've decided to give you the recipe for is something that my mom made a lot when I was growing up. So it always makes me really happy. It is a really nice salmon dish, and I think she came up with the recipe herself or got it from a friend, but it's really simple and it is super, super tasty.
I'm really in the mood for something that is super simple, super easy. I'm also really craving salmon, so let's make this dish. And I was looking over the recipe, and Celina was not kidding when she said that this was a super easy recipe, so let's put it together. All right, so the first thing that we are going to be doing is making our delicious chef's kiss creamy sauce for our salmon. And we're going to make it in a little saucepan. So I'm gonna start off by chopping just 2 cloves of garlic, and this is the only chopping that we're doing for this recipe. So it makes me so happy. So simple and so easy to make at the end of a long day. I'm going to chop this up nice and finely. All right, so now that my garlic is all chopped, I'm just going to add it to my pan. Okay, next we're going to add in 300 milliliters of cream. I didn't think I had a measuring cup that had milliliters on it, but I do. So we are going to be adding in 300 milligrams of heavy cream, which is about 1.5 cups. I'm just gonna be using this cooking cream, and I'm just going to add this straight to the pan. And I'm actually only cooking 1 salmon fillet. This recipe makes, like, I think it was 2 to 4, like 4 small or 2 big, and I have 1. So I'm gonna put in a little bit less cream because this dish is just for me, because Andrew is a salmon hater. I don't know why, because I love fish. I think it's delicious, but the man won't go near it. So this is just for me. Next up, we're going to add all of our spices. So first things first, just some salt and pepper. Celina's mom or herself, she also uses like a spice mix. We don't have it over here in Canada, so Celina kindly let me know all of the spices to put in. So I have everything that I had on hand, so let's add that too. A little bit of chili powder, some garlic powder, a little bit of paprika, some nutmeg, a little bit of cayenne pepper, then lastly, some cumin. All right, so I have the cream over here on medium heat, and I'm just going to stir it all together with the spices. And literally the only other thing that I have to do is once that spice mixture gets all bubbly and delicious, I'm gonna pour it over the fish and cook it in the oven for around 15 to 20 minutes. And then we just serve it with some rice and we are good to go. I think, like, I have such high hopes for this dish. It sounds right up my alley because I love things that are creamy and delicious. I love fish. But anyway, let's wait for that cream to boil and then we are gonna be closer to trying this dish. So the salmon that we're using today is actually from the farmer's markets. And my dad, who used to be a chef, I don't know if it's actually true, but he used to say, like, the paler the salmon was, the better it was going to taste. Is it true? I don't know. I feel like I don't eat enough salmon or have it as often to know if that's a true statement. But anyway, I'm gonna chop this guy up. Well, I'm not gonna chop him up, that's a lie. I'm just going to put him in this little dish. Just going to put him like that with the skin down. All right, so our cream is ready and I'm just gonna pour that right over our fish. I don't think I've ever really had a creamy salmon dish before. Like, I've had salmon in pastas before. Honestly, I think that this would be so good with pasta. I was like debating making pasta, but I'm in like a lazy mood right now, so I'm not gonna do that, but I'm going to put this in the oven and we'll try it when it comes out. All right, so for the salmon that we're having, instead of rice, I'm actually feeling like garlic bread. I don't know if that's a good pairing, but it sounds really tasty to me. So that is what we're gonna have. And Celina actually recommended garlic bread with the soup that I had earlier. I just didn't have enough time to make it. And ever since I saw like garlic bread, it's been on my mind. And so we're gonna honor that craving and have it with our salmon instead. So I just like lopped off a chunk of that homemade bread that I used for the avocado toast. And I'm just going to cut it in some slices before I put it in the oven. All right, so I whipped up a huge batch of my garlic butter because I just like to keep it in the fridge. This is literally just salted butter, garlic, parsley, and lemon juice. But I'm going to add a spoonful of this onto each piece of bread. Then I'm going to stick it in the oven with that salmon. The salmon is looking really good in there, but I'm going to stick this garlic bread in there. Oops, I almost burned myself, or thought I did. All right, so the salmon just came out of the oven. I'm not 100% sure it's cooked, but we'll have to take a peek inside. So I'm just going to lift the salmon up so it's off of the skin. I'm gonna put that on my plate. I'm also gonna add extra sauce. I feel like I should have put this in a bowl, but it's too late to go back now. Okay, so the garlic bread still needs a couple of minutes in the oven, but I figured we would taste this while it's out and hot and ready. I really don't know what to expect. I really don't. And I think that that's just, there's a lot of magic in that. So let's give it a try. It smells incredible. This literally smells like crack. This is really good. And I feel like with that sauce, I definitely should have made rice. And like I almost could have mixed it all together. Almost like the Emily Mariko rice bowl. If any of you have maybe heard of that. I'm just joking. I know it went pretty viral, so I'm sure most of you have heard of it. I've made it on my channel before, but I feel like this would be like the new Emily Mariko salmon. If you mix it with some rice, you can even have some nori on the side, some avocado, some cucumber. It's really, really tasty. I think I cooked mine a little bit too long because my filet was a bit on like the smaller side. So mine is a little bit dry, but like that's not Celina's fault. So overall, I'm gonna give this dish a 9 out of 10. Celina's mom did an incredible job because I'm definitely gonna make this for my kids in the future. Also, I don't care what anybody says. Not a single soul in this universe, but garlic bread and fish, it couldn't be a good combination. Garlic bread with anything is a good combination in my books, so. Cheers. This is another delicious meal in the book, Celina, so thank you so much. We have one more recipe to do, one more, and I'm extremely intimidated by it, so stay tuned for that. All right, so for this final recipe, I gotta bring out the big guns, so I've got my KitchenAid over here. I was going to attempt to explain what we're making. I'm trying to convince myself that it seems a lot more complicated than it is. So let's hear what Celina has to say about it. And I'm just going to attempt to get myself in order as she does. Also, she just sent me her photos for the thumbnail. She is so drop dead gorgeous. Beautiful. It's like her soul is just shining from the inside. But Anyway, let me get myself together. And again, Celina's going to have the honor of explaining this dish, or at least telling us a little bit more about it.
So for dessert, I've given you a little bit more of a challenge, and it's to make Norway's national cake. This cake is called verdens beste, which translated means the world's best. I had this cake a lot growing up. So whenever there was a birthday party or a different party, someone would make the cake and bring it. It's really, really yummy, and I thought it would be fun for you to make something from my culture. I hope you enjoy.
All right, friends, so you heard it from Celina. It is a bit technical, okay? I feel like I'm a little bit on like MasterChef or something, which is one of my favorite shows. I love it. Or the Bake Off, the Canadian Bake Off is incredible. It is one of the go-tos, okay? It is the cake. So I'm very excited to try to make it. This cake has several steps. So the first step that we are starting off with is what would be the cake base. Seems like it's kind of like a vanilla cake almost. So let's put that together. So I'm just going to use this paddle attachment on our KitchenAid. And the first thing that we are going to do, I have to get like my written instructions. The oven is preheating. We've got so many things going on. Also, the one thing about this recipe that might throw me off is that everything is in grams, and I do not have a food scale anymore. So this is my reminder to go and get one specifically for recipes like this and international recipes. But I did the conversions online, and I'm going to try to get the best texture. But it might be a little bit off, and if it is, then that is on me and my measuring skills. I'm not very good at math, but let's see what we can do. So first things first, we're gonna add in 1 cup of flour. I'm not doing this in the right order, wait. Let me look at the steps that Celina wrote out for me. Okay, yes, don't listen to a single thing that I just said. The first thing that we're going to do is take our room temperature butter, and we're gonna need 3/4 of a cup of this, and we're going to beat it with our sugar for around 5 minutes. I'm going to chop the butter up in cubes just because I feel like it blends a bit more easily, or maybe that's all in my head. Maybe it's placebo, but you know what? Who cares? Then I'm going to add in 3/4 of a cup of white sugar or granulated sugar. And then I'm going to whip it together for around 5 minutes until it's nice and fluffy. All right, so I feel like that looks pretty fluffy. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to be doing is adding in 6 egg yolks. I'm going to save the egg whites, so don't you worry about that. And we're going to add them in 1 at a time, as this is on like the second setting. So like the stir or 2, whatever you've got if you've got a KitchenAid. So let's do this thing. Okay, everything is kind of getting stuck to the side of my KitchenAid, so I'm just gonna give it like a little swirl. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is add in a bunch of dry ingredients. First thing we're gonna do is add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm actually using my real measuring spoons. Most of you know that I usually guesstimate, but I'm not doing that today. Not for this cake. So 2 teaspoons. And then the next thing that we're gonna add in is 1, you can come down, baby. I'm gonna add in 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I forgot what the other one was. Teaspoon of baking soda. Then we're going to add in 1 cup of all-purpose flour. And again, this is just what it said online. But the internet, you can't trust it all the time. So hopefully this will work. All right, so I've got 1 cup of flour that's going in there. And then we're also going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then we blend again. Okay, and to thin out the mixture a little bit, we're going to add in 6 tablespoons of milk.
That you took all the time still smells like you, like when you were mine. How could it be that I see memories in between all these worn out seams?
All right, so the next thing that we have to do is just take a baking tray and some baking paper. I'm just gonna use a silicone mat because I don't have baking paper. And now I'm wondering if this is a mistake. Well, life is too short. Anyway, let's just roll with it. But I do have to lay this evenly on the baking sheet, kind of in like a little rectangle. So I'm gonna get the dough, or batter, I guess I should say, out. You know what? If this doesn't go according to plan, then it was just an experience. And life is full of experiences. So I'm going to attempt to make this into like an even square. I'm not the best at following instructions, as many of you know, so I really am trying my best to follow the instructions that Celina gave me. All right, so I don't know if this is particularly even. It looks okay. So I'm going to put this in a 180 degree or 350 degree oven for around 10 minutes. Now I have to wash this bowl super quickly while the cake cooks for 10 minutes. And then we're going to make our Italian meringue and put it back in the oven. So I'm gonna work on that. All right, so it is Italian meringue time. And I didn't even know what Italian meringue was, but Celina actually let us know the difference in her message to me. She let us know that the difference from a regular meringue is that you whip boiling syrup into the egg whites, which gives it a fuller and shinier meringue. Amazing, amazing. I'm a chef's daughter, but I have never, ever made meringue in my life. Am I nervous? Yes, but I'm also excited to eat this dessert and also to continue to make it. So let's get that sugar and water mixture going. All right, so I have 150 milliliters of water. And then I'm going to add in a cup and a half of sugar. I'm going to wait until it boils and we're going to cook it for around 7 minutes. And while that sugar, water, syrup boils, we might as well get started on the other part of the meringue, which is quite simple. I hope that those are not my famous last words saying that this is a simple step. I was like reading the instructions several times to make sure I know what I'm doing. But we're going to add in our 6 egg whites that we saved from before. I'm also going to be using this attachment, our little whisk. All right, so here are 6 egg whites. Then I'm going to be adding some sugar in. The recipes will be linked below, by the way. And then we're also going to be adding in a little bit of salt, around half a teaspoon. And now we're just going to whip this together until we have some nice stiff peaks. And so now I have my boiling hot syrup. I just transferred it into like a pourable glass, or I guess measuring cup. And so now while this machine is on, I'm going to pour this in gradually to create our Italian meringue. And we're going to beat it together for around like 7 to 8 minutes. All right, so there are several steps to this cake. Right now it's not looking great, but I'm going to shape it later on. I don't know why it did that, but we're just gonna roll with it. So this is like a half-baked cake because it was only cooked for around 10 minutes. And now we're going to go grab our Italian meringue and add it on top. We're also going to add on these slivered almonds and stick it back in the oven. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit nervous about this. Just in general, like nervous about putting it all together. But you know what, if we don't try, then we'll never know. Look at how pretty this meringue is. It's super nice and thick, but I'm just going to add it to the cake right now. I'm gonna try to make this in an even layer as well.
Lessons, Monday mornings if you're free.
I don't think I've actually had meringue, or maybe I have. I've had like lemon meringue pie, so I think that that's the only time I've ever had meringue before. There we go. I spread it as evenly as I could. Now I'm just going to sprinkle on some almonds. My expectations are literally across the board. 1 second, I'm really confident that I can execute this dessert perfectly. Hold on. I don't know. I don't know if you guys need a delay to see better, but other parts of me, I'm just a little bit unsure. All right, well, that looks like enough almonds, and we're going to stick it back in the oven. All right, friends, it's not an angle that we get at very often, but the oven, my brain is fried. The timer just went off and the cake was in there for another 15 minutes. And so what I'm gonna do now is turn off the oven completely so there is no heat. And then what Celina told me to do is just open the oven, and it's going to cook for another 10 minutes like this. My dad used to always open the oven every time he was done cooking in the winter because it provides some additional warmth to the house. So that is just like a memory that I'm dealing with right now. Let me zoom in a little bit. Oh my goodness. Well, that is what she's looking like right now, and she's gonna cook for another 10 minutes. And while that cooks, we are on one of the last steps of this cake. It's actually not been as tough as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be a lot more difficult, but we are going to be making our vanilla cream filling because we're going to end up cutting that cake in half and stacking it, and there's going to be delicious cream in the middle. So now we've got to make that delicious cream. Celina hasn't led me astray yet, so I'm going to pull up her instructions. All right, I've washed this so many times, but I think, no, I might have to wash it one more time, but that's okay, we're good. The first thing that we're going to do is add 300 milliliters of milk. Then we're going to add in some sugar. Big dum-dum right now. I'm not supposed to add it to this. I'm supposed to add it to a saucepan. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna bring it over to a saucepan. My God, I'm such a mess right now. So I'm gonna try to do this with my oven open right below me as well. But I have the milk, the cream, and the sugar over here that I'm just going to whisk. And I'm also going to add in some vanilla extract. So I'm just going to cook this until it's almost boiling, and then we have some more steps to this vanilla cream. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, there's too many things going on at once. I don't know if this is what it's supposed to look like, but it's what we're dealing with right now. All right, so while our milk is finishing cooking, we're going to be mixing some egg yolks with cornstarch, and this is still for our vanilla cream. All right, so I'm just adding some cornstarch right now to a bowl. And then I'm going to add in 4 egg yolks, and I'm just going to whisk this all together, creating a very thick paste. All right, so the next step is to add this milk into our egg and cornstarch mix. So I'm gonna do that off camera, and then we're going to put it back in this saucepan. All right, so I whipped up some homemade whipping cream. It's just whipping cream, basically. And I have the vanilla cream that I made over here, and we're just going to add it slowly into our whipped cream and just use the stir option to combine it all together.
To see.
I'm going to be fully transparent with all of you. I think I screwed up a little bit. I don't know if it's the measurements or what it is. I also don't really want to speak it fully into existence until everything is put together. But let's do that then. Let's put it together and see what we're working with, you know? We put this bad baby to some use today. Kitchen is a disaster. I have so much respect for people who do this all day, you know, cooking or baking, people who work in bakeries, especially for more extravagant desserts. It's just, I don't know how everyone does it. All right, so we've got our cutting board. I turned off the lights, and I'm not sure if that's better or worse. So the plan here is to cut this in half, give it a little bit of shape, and then to put it on a platter. Meringue is a little bit sticky. I'm not sure if it just hasn't like dried completely or cooled completely. So I'm going to cut it in half. And this is the little platter that oh my goodness, that I'm going to put our cake on. So I'm going to try to just trim it a little bit and make some even pieces. And so you're supposed to place it meringue down. Oh my God, maybe I didn't ruin the recipe, I don't know. Now we're going to add some of our vanilla cream on top. Oh my God, it's spilling on the sides, but you know what? I think it's just supposed to look that way, you know? Then I'm gonna take the other piece of cake and slide it on top. It doesn't look perfect, but I'm sure it's gonna taste delicious. Okay, it's looking like the Leaning Tower of Pisa a little bit, but we're gonna decorate it with some berries. My berry of choice today are some blueberries. Again, I'm not an artist, so it might not look the most beautiful, but I'm sure it's gonna taste wonderful. All right, so it really doesn't look as beautiful as the photos or as the videos or anything online, but you know what? This was also my first time making it, so I really don't expect it to be a masterpiece, but I really do think that I did an okay job. So now it's time to taste it. You're supposed to keep this in the fridge until you're ready to have it, but I'm ready right now. I'm also gonna try it cold, and I'll let you know right here what I think about it, but let's take a try. Take a try, take a test, take a test, take a taste. My brain is fried, but I've got a little bit of everything on here. Well, now I do. Let's see what this dessert is all about. Oh my God. It also kind of tastes like strawberry shortcake. I know there's no strawberry, but I think it's like the sponge cake with like the cream. It reminds me of strawberry shortcake. This is so good. It's quite long to make, so there's several steps, so keep that in mind if you do want to recreate this recipe. But it's so nice to try recipes from around the world, especially recipes that are so dear to so many of you. But I think we went through all of Celina's recipes today. If you like videos like this, then let me know in the comments down below. And let me know what else you would like to see as well. Celina, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be a part of one of these videos, to make videos yourself and send them to me, to put together these recipes, to even translate recipes for me. I really appreciated all of the hard work and creativity that went into all of your choices. And thank you so much for supporting me throughout the years. It just means so much to me. So thank you so much for all of these delicious recipes that not only myself, but other people will also get to enjoy. And that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. And if any of you ever want to be part of a video like this, I do post on Instagram or sometimes on my community tab over here on YouTube, just asking for random comments or whatever it might be. And I always choose somebody completely at random. And I will definitely be doing this in the next couple of months again. But before I let you go for today, I just wanted to talk to you about one more thing, which is something that I'm trying to do over on a new social media platform, which is called Nunu. It's a really new platform, but I'm very excited to be on it. As many of you know, I am one of the most indecisive people ever. It's so hard for me to make choices, whether it's about fashion or food or whatever it might be. I struggle, and I've always struggled ever since I was quite young. And so Nunu is a platform where creators, whether it's content creators, influencers, whatever it might be, they can go and create a profile, and the viewers or their audience, or even your friends, if you decide to make an account yourself, can help you decide what to do. So basically you create little videos with different options, different polls, different questions, and you as an audience get to decide what I do or don't do. So for example, I was really struggling with putting together an outfit the other night to go out with my girlfriends, and I put the two options online, and the voters voted. They chose which one they loved, and that's the one that I ended up wearing out. So it was super easy for me to use, and I was really, really excited that I didn't have to make that final decision because it can be so stressful. But I'm thinking of posting more videos on there and even coming up with suggestions for YouTube. So for example, like if my what I eat in a week video should have a theme, then I would let voters over on Nunu vote what that theme would be. So it's been really fun so far. I'm still learning the ropes. It's going to take me a little bit of time, but I'm really, really enjoying my time over there. But if you want to come on over and see what it's all about, or even participate in some of the polls with either other creators or myself, I think it's definitely something that I would just love to see everybody be a part of. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there at the end of this video. If you ever have any questions about Nunu in general, then you can let me know. But yeah, I just wanted to update all of you in this video, let you know what I'm doing. And yeah, I really hope to see some of you over there as well. But anyway, with that coming to a conclusion, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to do something kind for yourself, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye, friends.